before you leave that you are reconciled with God through that great sacrament, most holy. There's a wonderful story about the miraculous medal, and I thought I might end by sharing it with you today. God doesn't want to weigh heavy upon us. He wants to lift up our hearts. He wants us to be joyful. He wants us to know that He is the answer. He is the ultimate answer, and the answer He gives comes through Mary, who is indeed the mediatrix of all grace. There's an English bishop who died just last year. His name was Bishop Francis Walmsley, and for many, many years he was bishop to the British forces. But in the early days, just after being ordained as a young priest, he was sent to St. Peter the Apostle Church in Woolwich, where I happen to be the parish priest. Father Leon visited us earlier this year. What a great, great apostle this man is. We must support him with all our love and with all our prayers. He has a great and unique mission. But the young Father Francis Walmsley, as I say, was sent as his first appointment to Woolwich. And there was an old parish priest called Canon Monk. And Canon Monk was about 4'2". He was about your height. But he was a real formidable character. He used to take 1 week off every year, 1 week of annual leave. And where would he go? Well, he would travel by train from Paddington to Dover, then of course take the ferry to the other side of the channel, and then pick up a train again and travel all the way down to Lourdes. I love Lourdes. It's a great, great place, as is any shrine dedicated to Our Lady. And he would spend 3 or 4 days there, and then he would make his return back to Woolwich. But before leaving France, he would stop off in Paris. And he would go along with his suitcase that was almost the size of him. There were no wheels on his case in those days. And he would visit the Church of the Miraculous Medal. And he would always take a great, great cluster of medals back with him that were blessed in that shrine to the parish. And he would give them out whenever someone was sick, or to the children. He was remarkable, had tremendous devotion to Mary. But one day after lunch, and it was in the days when there were 7 assistant priests at St. Peter's, Woolwich, he said to one of the curates, it wasn't Father Francis Walmsley, he tells the story in his diaries that I read recently. He said through a cloud of smoke, because he did love a cigar at the end of his meal, he said to the youngest curate, Father, here are 10 miraculous medals. I want you to take them, and I want you to plant them in the Anglican Church on the Lower Road. I have to say that the church was growing bigger and bigger with people, and the church building at St. Peter's was no longer able to take the capacity of people, so he had the idea of building a daughter church. And he came up with the brilliant idea, I'm going to build this church. Well, how could he build the church? Did he have the means? This is just after the Second World War, when things were really, really difficult. Well, he knew he could build that church because the week before he came up with this idea, he won the Irish sweepstake. He won £60,000. And so he said to the Bishop of Southwark, the Catholic bishop, I'm going to build this. He said, Father, if you can fund it, go ahead. So the priest returned and he said, so Father, did you plant those miraculous medals? So he said, yes, in St. Mary the Virgin's Anglican Church. He said, you've gone to the wrong church. He said, it's the bombed out Anglican church on the lower road that leads to Greenwich. And so he gave him 10 more miraculous medals, and the priest got back on his bike and he planted medals in this old wrecked out Anglican church. I should have said that he did ask the Anglican bishop if he could buy that site, and they said no. And that's why he sent the young priest with those miraculous medals. Well, within a few days of those miraculous medals being planted there, he unexpectedly received a letter from the Anglican bishop. He said, we've had second thoughts. We could do with a bit of money in the diocese, and so I'm going to sell it to you. I'm going to sell it to you for £30,000. And so Canon Monk rubbed his hands together and he said, Mary, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee. And he built that church, and that church was dedicated to St. Catherine Labouré. But what happened a week after that church was built? It's remarkable. So we're a year on now. The Anglican priest knocked on the presbytery door at St. Peter's. Said, can I speak to Canon Monk? Canon Monk welcomed him and said, how can I help you? And the priest said, I want to become a Catholic. Extraordinary. And that Anglican priest who became a Catholic went on to train at the Beda College in Rome and became a Roman Catholic priest. So never, ever downplay what God and Our Lady can do for you and wants to do for you. All it requires is trust. Our Lady, conceived without sin, pray for us who have recourse to thee.